Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of Mental Heal, author of Man Just Express Himself. Listen, I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for the love that you continue to show me on the movement, the book, and of course now this new YouTube channel. You guys definitely did your thing with liking, sharing, subscribing. Make sure you continue to do that. I definitely appreciate you. I didn't anticipate it to grow as rapidly as it did, but we are here. So, with that being said, I will be introducing a new segment that I'll be interviewing different men throughout the community as well as in different places. And I wanted to do this so you guys can not only just hear my voice and the lessons that I provide for you guys on different knowledge and subject, but I thought it would be an interesting way for other men to tell their story of resilience and their road to their wellness journey. So we're going to be talking in these interviews about mental health, physical health, relationships, substance use recovery, early detection, different societal norms, relationships, athletes and mental health, maybe politics and mental health, and the stressors that's coming from that. And also masculinity. We might dive into that as well. So it's so many amazing men who have reached out that are open to tell their story. So, I'm gonna put something together, man. One Tuesday out of the month. I think it'll be interesting for you guys to hear that dynamic. So be willing and open to listen. I hope you guys continue to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you do that. Make sure you also get the book. Go support. With that being said, the guest that I got coming up is.
What's going on? My name is Paul Bashea Williams. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm the author of Dear Future Wife, A Man's Guide and a Woman's Reference to Healthy Relationships. I'm also a psychotherapist, and I work primarily with the Black community. I love everything about relationships and couples, but I do see men and boys, primarily African American. So that's my whole thing. What I want to do. I'm a married man. Recently married, got married last year, August 2020. But that's who I am. I'm a father as well. So I have a 16-year-old, 15-year-old about to turn 16. And then we have a 22-year-old together.
My God. So listen, I got you here based on that awesome book as well as the relationship experience. And of course you're a therapist as well. I know for me a lot of men are still hesitant of showing that gratification to their partners, their ladies, and their family in general. So what are some ways that we can break that stereotype?
So we got to find out what's blocking us from doing it. I think some of the messaging that we were taught growing up is the masculinity as far as like I need to be taken care of, and this is how I take care of my woman, as long as I'm paying a bill, as long as I'm buying something. But that doesn't really always harness and create connection, right? Because I could be committed to buying something, but does that create that I'm committed to the relationship? And we think that's just enough. And I think sometimes we shortchange ourselves and our feelings and our emotions within the relationship, and we think that we're not supposed to be emotionally connected. So it's so many different levels and so many different things. We got to break down the stereotypes. We got to break down the lessons that we learn, kind of unlearn those things, relearn some new things, and find out what that emotional investment is in a relationship and what that looks like.
Yeah, that's definitely a correct assessment, man, because I know the emotional maturity for a lot of men stop at a certain age, and they no longer be able to process or gain that fulfillment. And it has a lot to do with stereotypes, society norms, and stuff like that. Having multiple women and stuff like that is a badge of honor in some cases,
Right.
but that also can be a trauma, a way to cope with trauma or a way
Mhm.
to cope with grief and loss because you're running from partner to partner, not processing, thinking that you can find something. So what was the process on your book, man? Why did you decide to, title it Dear Future Wife and create it around that aspect?
Well, some of the stuff that you just said, it was a traumatic event that happened to me in college. So I had this idea of what a relationship is supposed to be like. And I said, all right, so I'm gonna wait till after I leave high school and I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna find my wife. We're gonna get married and we're gonna get our degrees. We're gonna get the house. We're gonna be popping, whatever it is, right? So I go into college with that mindset, and then every person that I met, I was like, this is my wife. I'm gonna operate this way, not really knowing how it what it takes to be a husband, what it takes to even be in a relationship. And I was dating this girl, and she cheated. So I was like, yo, like I'm in college, and I was just like, all right, so this ain't safe. It ain't safe out here. And so what I did was I started to write. So if I felt the emotional thing that I wanted to do with somebody, As opposed to giving it to them, I wrote it on paper because paper was safe, right? And then I found some more things about me that I wanted to do, but I just knew that I wasn't emotionally mature to really give that to anybody else. So I started to write like, dear future wife, like today I want to do this, but I was also blocking and self-sabotaging any type of relationship. If it got close to the emotional part, I would do something to end that situation. And then I will hop to somebody else, right? Because it's easier. I don't want to put myself back in this position. Now, get them before you get me. All those different things that I was hearing, the messaging that people were telling me, like, nobody is faithful in college. I hear that. Like, and I see people just moving about the cabin, like, I'm getting it in over here. Yeah, but don't you mess with him. But yeah, he's doing this thing. I'm doing my thing. And then it was like a eye-opening experience for me. And I was also running from the trauma, and I never dealt with it because I didn't have anybody to talk to about it.
No, I got you. So in college, man, you seen the movie Hitch? You was like the real life Hitch, man.
Yeah, right. People told me.
Yeah. So I'm glad you was able to create a masterpiece for that, and it's a hell of a tool for people in general. The tidbits that came from that is definitely inspirational. So I know you got a son. Besides modeling, though, what other aspects are you teaching him as far as relationships?
So I'm actually having the conversations that I wish I had with my pops, right? So me and my father, we're talking now about relationships, but I'm already married. I'm already had my experience. And he would say to me, you should have come to me about these things because I can tell you all those different things. I said, you should have had that conversation with me when I was growing up. Like, I don't want to come to you when there's drama or the end of the relationship. We're talking about it. Like, I want to be taught the tools to kind of navigate. So I said, this is what I told my son. I said, I'm going to teach you these different things. I'm going to teach you through my personal experiences. I'm going to be open, but I'm also show you different things that how you affect, like what is important to wait if you're going to wait to have sex. What happens if you do decide to have sex? It's not just about the intercourse. It's about the emotional connection, spiritual connection. The mindset is all of that. Like you said, the badge of honor that we're taught. We're taught the value is in inquiring many, as opposed to having value in ourselves that we don't give it to everybody. Like, that doesn't increase your value by the amount of parts you have. That actually decrease your value. It's just like, a used car. Like, the more you use it, the more you sell it, it depreciates. So why not, save that or share that with just one person and really understand what's happening in the relationship. So, and I'm not saying, I'm not pretending like I was a virgin when I met my wife. Clearly I have a son. I'm not pretending like I wasn't out there, but I've learned all the different experiences that I had. They didn't produce a lot of fruit. So it was a lot of drama that I went through trying to work, out sex, acquire different women because I was afraid of getting hurt, or because I was protecting something, or I didn't want to experience that. So I explained that to him. We have those conversations, and I want him to identify what he's feeling and what he's going through, what he's seeing, because social media is telling you one story and you log offline and it's a whole different ball game. Like, we have those conversations.
Now, that's an interesting perspective. So as you can see, I'm currently in my shoe closet because my daughter is doing some schoolwork in my office downstairs. Speaking of that, if you had a daughter, would your conversations be similar to that of your son, or do you think it would be different? Probably your approach and, the things that you're discussing, because I noticed you said you're talking to him about sex, you're talking to him about relationships and stuff like that. So if you had a daughter, would your approach be different, or your thoughts and advice be the same?
So for me, having a son, I don't have the experience with a daughter. So it would definitely be somewhat different. But my thing is, because that conversation comes up a lot on social media, and people ask me, why do we tell our sons one thing and then we tell our daughters another thing? And I said, we should be telling our sons the same thing, because we tell our daughters to wait and to value themselves, but we tell our sons the value is in acquiring girls or women. So I would bring my son back and said, that's not the value. The value is in what you have and to protect it and to keep it. So I'm going to tell my daughter the same thing. I'm going to tell her, watch out for this. Just like I'm going to tell my son, watch out for this. And I told him, I'm going to teach him all about the game, not to play it, but to understand it. So because you're part of it. So I want to teach if I had a daughter, I would teach her the same thing. Here's what happens. This is what it means when a man is doing this, the boy is doing this. This is what your emotions are telling you. The same thing. I'm having that same conversation with my son.
Nah, I definitely appreciate that. And so I do something similar with my daughter. Like she's not at that phase of dating yet, but I try to model a certain behavior so she'll know what to gravitate to and she can understand. And we have an open dynamic for when that time comes, and it's based around healthy relationships, not so much of a gender type relationship. It's more
Right.
so principles that will go with anybody. You should be a good person. You should be nurturing. You should be respectful and tactful and stuff like that. And you shouldn't be disrespected and degraded. So regardless of gender, I think it's certain principles that she should obtain.
Right.
So me and my lady, man, my fiance, we do cheesy dates often. And
Yeah.
I see that you and your lady, y'all got you got a series going on online, man. Talk to the people about that.
Yeah, so we got When Love Aligns brand, and we talk about the different things that happens within relationships, like the real stuff. We talked about why we waited to have sex and the importance of it, and we talked about the real side of it, of what the struggle was, what the fear was, what the experience was, and what happened after we got married. We still had to condition our mind to say it's okay to do this thing now. It's okay to touch it. We talked about the ego, how the ego shows up in a relationship, because me moving in with her, despite me having the money to get whatever I wanted, it didn't make sense because she already had a house. So my ego was telling me we needed to get another house, but she already had one. And then once I moved in, I was ego spending. So now I'm trying to furnish the house with everything. And we didn't need all those things right away. I was trying to get the basement done. I was trying to get the backyard. I was trying to get all these things, and also telling myself that you need to show up. You need to. And I was also trauma spending because of growing up not having a lot. So now that I got it, let me show that I got it, as opposed to saving it, investing it, and doing the right things with it. So it's just a lot of different things we talk about. We talk about everything when it comes to relationships.
Listen, that's you guys got some good shows that you guys highlight. I know for us, we do the cheesy dates, and it's a way to showcase a healthy relationship because a lot of people don't have those models. And even growing up, I personally didn't have those models, so I had to create them. I had to break cycles, and it's working well. We got offers to do so many things, but just timing isn't correct. So,
Yeah.
I send them to people like you and your lady with the show and stuff like that, which is a good tool for couples, whether they up and coming or whether they already married. And the same thing with my book. A lot of women that been married 20, 40 years have been complimenting me on the book. So I'm sure you get the same with your book. Is a heck of a tool. So what else you got coming up, man? If you want to drop it for the people.
Yeah, so we got some stuff coming up. We're gonna have When Love Aligns weekend, and there's going to be like a showcase that'll be coming out, and we'll drop the date. We're trying to finalize the date. We got some couples coaching coming out. We have a book coming out, When Love Aligns book. I have a book that's coming out that's talking for men and talking about, and I had a masterclass for men called Found, so I'm about to re-release that. Other than that, man, it's just that, this practice, man, running my private practice and helping couples, helping individuals. I just hired some new people, but just speaking all over different universities and agencies about psychological safety. So I'm tapping into everything and just, letting us know, what the Black voice looks like, what the Black man shows up, what he needs, what the Black woman needs when going into the workspace. So a whole bunch of different things coming up, bro.
Nah, man, I definitely appreciate that. So listen, that vulnerability piece, because the transparency, I
Mhm.
know I have it. A lot of people that we have in common, pretty much detail their stories. They talk vulnerability, whether it's relationships, whether it's ego, whether it's just toxic aspects of things and stuff like that. Like, how do you feel about breaking the norms in which we're doing?
So for me, the vulnerability was freedom for me. Being able to share my experiences and not to have to hide like everything is okay. That created a sense of freedom. So years ago, I chose the platform to say, you know what, I'm tired of hiding. And I know there's a level of access that I need to allow myself to be free to share. And if I'm vulnerable, that to me, that was strength. So now it doesn't matter how you respond to it. It was more the fact that I'm strong enough to share it. So when I tell men what that vulnerability means, is because the vulnerability means I get what I need from the particular relationship. Like if I'm sharing that something that's bothering me, I'm sharing that something hurts, something doesn't feel good. I'm not pretending like I'm okay and then I'm boiling inside it and I explode or I walk away from something that I could have just talked about. So the vulnerability, it gives access again to these emotions. You talk about emotional immaturity. Like you said some stop at a certain point. Some don't even get there. Like it takes a long time for us to get there because we're not told that it's okay to be there. So for me, it was again being the example and talk about the vulnerability. And it's okay because that whole man up has killed a lot of men. It's killed a lot of men.
No, that definitely has, man. And then the lack of, like, I think me being vulnerable in every space that I try to go into has led to a lot of other people being vulnerable and accepting me and creating safe spaces. So
Right.
for me, it's more of a lifestyle. Like, I'm cool with who I am. You know, I'm firm in who I am as well. And again, it has opened up a lot of other people's eyes, whether they're relationships or, you know, in business and you know, just um, cohabitating with different people, you know, in certain spaces. So, I mean, I'm proud of the work that you're doing, man. I'm happy that you are able to express yourself and be free, not only from the relationship side, but from the dynamic of, you know, just being a strong black male in society. Is you know, we at this place, man, where we need more of the collective. So, what's your thoughts on bringing more men into the field of therapy?
Yeah, thank you. And I'm proud of you too, bro. As soon as you saw that book, I went to go get it. And I was rocking my shirt like a proud person every time I go. I wear it probably like once or twice a month. I wear it whenever I go out. You know, we're not going out as much, but if I go to the
Yeah,
grocery store, I got it on. So I'm definitely proud of you as well. I think it's so vital that we have more in this healing and vulnerable space because, and I'm not competing with anybody. We have to understand like we need to collaborate. Like there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people that need our help. Like we're not competing for the same person. So to understand that, to have more men in this space, more examples, we get access to more boys who need to hear these things. So we have healthier relationships with ourselves, healthier relationships with our brothers, healthier relationships with our partners, whatever that is, it's so important to bring more men in this space. And I try to mentor other men who are in any type of mental health programs. You know, I offer free mentoring to them to a certain extent because I can't exhaust myself and burn out. But I try to, you know, offer some resources. And I would just love to see more in this space, in this healthy space, because there's a lot of unhealthy men who are giving unhealthy information and people are eating it up and it's creating this cycle of toxicity that's really destroying our community.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, and I'm on the same wave, man. I try to mentor as many as I can, you know, based on timing and stuff like that. But there is a lot of men that are going against the grain and still, you know, stretching those cycles as far as they can with that those negative impressions. And I know that that negativity travels way faster than that positivity. So we definitely got to continue to enhance the field with rich information and powerful people. That's why I try to collab as often as I can. I try to refer as most as I can. You know, with building relationships with other men in different cities and states and stuff like that, based on, you know, similar interests, or if they got something that I need or vice versa. I'm like, yo, hey, go to him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
right down your city,
right,
you know.
right.
And I think that can foster a lot of healthiness, you know, from
Right.
a wellness standpoint, not just the mental, but the physical. And a lot of people still think that those two are disconnected, but they're one and the same for most cases.
Yeah.
Hey, man, so if you could drop your information so people can reach out to you, man.
Yeah, definitely follow me on IG, Facebook, YouTube, um, Clubhouse at Bah-Shay Williams, and that's Bashea Williams. My website is BahShayWilliams.com. You can find out some information on there. I have my book on there as well. It's on Amazon as well. You can find me again on Facebook. I do a lot of different questions and talks on Facebook as well. But that's where you can find me. And me and my wife's page, my wife and I's page is When Love Aligns. So go follow that page and follow our talks and conversations. We're going to have you and your fiance. We want to invite y'all up there because we can talk about the cheesy dates, because I think that's a dope concept. And I think a lot of people need to be okay in their own skin. So
Yeah.
I think it's dope. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the cheesy dates, man, was created out of, like, I've always been one of those, you know, doing stuff outside the grain. I invite a young lady to see a play or to go to a concert, but her was like, nah, that's cheesy. I'm going to this
Yeah.
party. You know what I'm saying? When we was younger, but now you older, you
Right.
know, it's not as cheesy. So I just stuck with the name Cheesy Dates, because we still do interactive stuff, whether that's painting in the crib or whether that's just talking,
Mm.
going on date nights and stuff like that, just being intimate, you know, not just on the physical side. So it's grown. But yeah, we'll definitely accept that invitation, man, to come rap with you guys. Definitely appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna be sure to plug your information to get you some book sales, man, to get people to come and check you out. I definitely thank you for your time, my brother.
No problem. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.